Called to order. At this time, I'd like to call the regular board meeting to order. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Arencibia?
Present.
Emerald?
Here.
Lopez Zepeda?
Here.
Solis?
Present.
Aguirre?
Here.
This is the point of the agenda where members of the public may address the board on matters posted for the special meeting and in accordance with Government Code Section 54954.3, subsection A. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the legislative body concerning any item that has been described in the notice for the meeting before or during consideration of that item. Each person wishing to address an item on the meeting notice in closed session will have 2 minutes to do so.
There are no speakers.
Okay. If there is no further communication, I will recess the meeting for consideration of the following closed session item on the meeting notice. Item 1, students, expulsions, suspensions, expulsions, reinstatements. Education Code 48916-48918. Students identified by case and ID number. Item 2, public employee evaluation, appointment, transfer. Government Code Section 54957. Item 3, public employee discipline, dismissal, release. Government Code Section 54957. Item 4, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, paragraph 1 of subdivision D of Government Code Section 54956.9. And item 5, conference with legal section, anticipated litigation, paragraph 2 of subdivision D of Government Code Section 54956.9. And item 6, conference with labor negotiator, Government Code Section 54957.6. We will now adjourn to closed session. this time, I would like to reconvene the regular board meeting. Clerk of the board, please call roll.
Arancibia,
Present.
Emerald. Here. Lopez.
Here.
Lopez Cepeda.
Here.
Solis.
Present.
Aguirre.
Here.
We will now hold a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The board met in closed session preceding this meeting to discuss the following issues. Item 1, students expulsion, suspension, suspended, expulsions, reinstatements. Education Code Section 48916 through 48918. Students identified by case and ID number. Item 2, public employee evaluation, appointment, transfer. Government Code Section 54957. Item 3, public employee discipline, dismissal, release. Government Code Section 54957. Item 4, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, paragraph 1 of the subdivision D of Government Code Section 54956.9. Item 5, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, paragraph 2 of subdivision D of Government Code Section 54956.9. Item 6, conference with labor negotiator, Government Code Section 54957.6. The board took the following action. Moved by Solis, second by Emerald, to approve the reinstatement of one student with a vote of Arancibia, yes; Emerald, yes; Lopez, yes; Lopez Cepeda, yes; Solis, yes. Moved by Emerald, second by Arancibia, to approve the appointment of Dr. Alex Salazar as principal, Bonita Vista High School, with a vote of Arancibia, yes; Emerald, yes; Lopez, yes; Lopez Cepeda, yes; and Solis, yes. Moved by Lopez, second by Solis, to approve the non-reelection of one probationary certificated employee with a vote of Arancibia, yes; Emerald, yes; Lopez, yes; Lopez Cepeda, yes; Solis, yes. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the April 14, 2025 regular board meeting with the change that the board will consider Board Agenda 06 before the presentation from Life Sharing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Arancibia,
Yes.
Emerald. Yes. Lopez.
Yes.
Lopez Cepeda.
Yes.
Solis.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. At this time, the board is very proud to recognize the Bonita Vista High School boys wrestling team for earning the title of CIF Division II champions. The team is also back-to-back Metro League champions. They had 3 wrestlers who individually earned the title of Metro League champion, one who was named CIF champion, and one named the CIF and Metro League champion. Please help me in honoring and congratulate Coach Marcotti and the Bonita Vista Boys CIF. Please come forward. Coach, few words.
I want to say thank you to all of my assistant coach, Coach Phil Davis, Coach Ivan Kasaki, and Coach Zach Greibel, who were 2 of them present and Zach not present. I want to thank all these wrestlers and all their parents for their support. Wrestling is a very difficult, very trying sport, and these boys woke up endlessly at 6 a.m. to practice every morning and practice after school, and still maintain a high academic standard. So I'm very thankful and blessed as a coach of these young men, and thankful that I have the parental support to make them the champions they are. And I'm sure they'll be very successful in representing our community. So thank you, guys.
I have certificates. Is it on? Yeah. I have certificates, and then we'll take a picture.
Yeah, let's try and do 2 rows. Can we do that?
Parents, feel free to get closer to take pictures. You don't have to stay in the back. Don't be shy.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and 3.
We have more recognition. The board is now honored to recognize the Montgomery High School boys basketball team for winning the CIF Open Division Championship title. The team had an impressive season record of 29-3 and beat Carlsbad in the championship 53-45 in front of 4,000 fans. This is the highest level of boys basketball achievement in Metro Conference history. They ranked number 13 in the state and just outside the national top 100 at 106. Please help me congratulate and honor Coach Edward Martin and the Montgomery High boys basketball team and their record-setting championship season. Please come forward.
say a few words. The coach say a few words.
Coach, can you say a few words?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the board for this distinguished honor. Very proud to stand in front of these young men. First, I'd actually like to thank our administrative staff, because I've always felt with athletics, great things don't happen unless you have the support of your administrative staff. So I want to thank Mr. Zumstein and Mrs. Valerie Ruiz. Secondly, I know we don't have many of their parents in this room, but the parental support that we've had for the core group of this team, there's 8 seniors, and I've had them for 4 years. For some of the things that these guys, these young men have done, they couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without their parental support. So I want to make sure that I show some appreciation for them. And to these young men, we've done some things that hasn't been seen by our conference before. We went to 3 straight Open Division finals, and they got to end it the right way by winning a CIF Open Division title. And all with that, with maintaining a team GPA of over 3.5. So I know they've heard me say it before, and I know they've seen me shed a tear, but I'm incredibly proud of this group. So thank you, young men.
Please stay up here. I have certificates, and we'll be taking a group picture.
Get one here first, okay? Here we go. All right, now this guy. Here we go.
Great job, guys.
But wait, there's more. The board would now like to recognize the Mar Vista High School Academic Decathlon team, who competed at the state level for the first time. The team placed 7th in Division 4 at the state level. The students individually earned 4 gold medals, 1 silver, 1 bronze, and 1 student had the highest overall score in the scholastic division, earning the gold medal. Please help me congratulate Coach Catherine. And Coach, I'm going to mess up your last name, Chakowski, and the Mar Vista High Academic Decathlon Team. Coach, some words?
All right, well, thank you, members of the board, and Mar Vista High School and Principal Kramer. Academic decathlon's an interesting thing. There are 10 events, not surprisingly, thus decathlon. Kids take multiple choice exams, they give a speech, they write an essay, they have impromptu and prepared events. I like to refer to it as nerd combat, and these are the best of the best up here. So when I initially approached Ms. Vicedo about addressing the board, our intent was to come and simply thank you for supporting events like decathlon, for recognizing that excellence can come in very different ways beyond athletics, and that intellectual pursuits are valuable and celebrated at places including Mar Vista High School. So thank you, board, for allowing us access to Nikki Meyer-Sandez. She's a gift in terms of a resource teacher. She made it so much easier for us to go to Santa Clara and have fun. And thank you for spending the money on recognizing this type of sport. So I hope you will accept that. Thanks. And I just wanted to give two students a chance just to briefly address you about what this experience means to them.
Hello, I want to say that I really appreciate the board for supporting Mar Vista Academic Decathlon of 2025. Sin su ayuda no hubiera sido posible, y yo sé eso. I hope that the board keeps supporting future academic decathlon teams to not only reach state level, but to also represent Sweetwater Union High School at national level. Thank you.
Yay.
I just want to say thank you for letting us have this incredible opportunity. I know our district going to state for academic decathlon is something really new, and I'm just super glad that we were able to even put our foot in the door.
Yay.
I have certificates, and then we will be doing a group picture.
All right, here we go. Ready, 1, 2, and 3.
Everyone's trying to cherry pick right there.
Yes,
See that?
yes,
I saw
yes.
that. Congratulations, guys.
It always is such wonderful times when we can acknowledge the excellence that is in our district with our students. Okay. Before the next presentation, no?
Yes.
I would ask the board to consider board item 06, adopt resolution number 4966, designating the month of April 2025 as Donate Life Month. Do I have a motion?
Second?
Arencibia? Yes. Emerald? Lopez? Yes. Lopez Cepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
The board would like to welcome Christy Heyman from Life Sharing, who has a presentation for the board.
Good evening. You know, that's a hard act to follow, all of the students. I mean, it really is. I do have a student of my own with me tonight, though, so that's nice. Good evening, President Lopez Cepeda, Vice President Solis, members of the board, and President and Superintendent Aguirre. Thank you for having us and declaring this as April as Donate Life Month. As you know, it's very important to a lot of people in this room, and I'm going to introduce Paul in a second, and he can tell you exactly why. So it raises awareness about the critical need for organ and tissue donation. There's more than 100,000 people on the national waiting list for an organ transplant. You'll meet a couple of them tonight. To be added to this list, transplant is their very last option. 2,000 are here in San Diego, they're waiting. And while many will die today because an organ won't become available in time. So I'm Christy Heyman, and I'm the school outreach coordinator for Life Sharing. Life Sharing is, we coordinate organ and tissue donation at the end of life and help transplant vital organs. And we represent San Diego and Imperial County. So when an individual's life can't be saved, it's our job to see if organs and tissues can help others through the miracle of a life-saving transplant. So it's an honor to partner with the science and health educators in the district. The teachers are just amazing, and they educate their students about saving lives through organ donation. The program includes a teacher resource guide, lesson plans, a video, and a personal story by our life-sharing speakers. And I have some guests with me. Mr. Gervais, who is pictured up here, and he's on my right here. He's a high school social studies teacher at Bonita Vista. He attended Castle Park as an athlete, and he's pictured here talking to his students about his very recent kidney transplant in September last year. And a special thank you to Paul Woods, retired district architect. Paul is going to say a couple words. Yeah.
Good evening once again. I just want to thank the board for continuing this tradition to support Donate Life Month. For those who don't know, this lung was transplanted, my left lung, in 2013, and I liked it so much I got another one. My right lung was transplanted in 2023. And I had a great boss in 2013 that kept me on and was able to work, take time off for the transplant and recover and continue working. And he's sitting right there. And so just supporting staff, supporting this program to educate students is just great, and I'm glad you're continuing to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Did you notice he doesn't have any oxygen with him today? He looks amazing. He's enjoying life, retired. I mean, it's just an amazing thing. So we just appreciate your support so much for people like him. So, you know, being a donor is about people we can help after we're gone, and what a difference we can all make. Now I'd like to introduce you to Merari Hernandez. She's an anatomy student at Hilltop High School who sat in one of our clinical presentations in January. She is one of those miracles.
Good evening, my name is Merari Hernandez and I'm an anatomy student at Hilltop High, and this is my story. In July 2018, I was crossing the border from TJ to home, and the day after I got a UTI. I got treated in Tijuana, but with the treatments, I wasn't feeling better. So they were suspecting that I had kidney disease. So I got transferred to Rady Children's. I got treated at 2020. I got told that I would need a transplant. And so they said to keep as living as the best I could with my meds and everything. October 2021, I got hospitalized and I got put a catheter on because they said it was time for dialysis. My mom would help me do peritoneal dialysis where I would have to get connected to a machine every night, and that was in December 2021. February 9, 2022, I got the call that I finally had a kidney for me, and February 10, 2022, I got my transplant. And this past February, I celebrated my 3-year kidney transplant anniversary. I have a lot of more energy now, and I'm living life to the best I can now. I thank God, my doctors, my nurses, my family for being by my side every step of the way. And I'm grateful every day for my donors family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could we have a photo with the board by any chance? And thank you again for declaring April as Donor Life Month. It's very important, and we work with all the schools. We just
Have a
appreciate it.
certificate, and we'll do a group photo with all of your speakers as well.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Do one more with mine.
All right. We will now have a message from Superintendent Dr. Moises Aguirre.
Thank you, President Lopez Cepeda. Good evening and buenas tardes to everybody. Bienvenidos to our April 4th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. For today's update, I had something else written, but I just want to take a moment to acknowledge what we all went through this morning and the fact that we're all shaking a little bit, so the earthquake in our region. I do want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody at our school sites, at our district office, for knowing the earthquake protocols and for staying safe and ensuring all of our students and all of our staff we're safe. Please know that our schools received visual inspections and checks, and there are no major problems identified at this time. I just want to make sure I report that out. I think it's implied, but it's very important to make sure we state that. Thank you to the maintenance teams that are out there, to all the school site staff and district staff that were out supporting. I just want to say thank you. It's very important. Also want to take a moment before I get into the bulk of the update to thank associations for the tentative agreements that will be reviewed later on this evening. It takes a lot of work to get there. And I think it's important to acknowledge the work that has occurred. And I'd like to think that in our district, whether it's good times or bad times, we come together as a district family to support each other. And so I think this is one of those good times. And just like we come together when we have challenges, in this instance, we do have the opportunity to arrive at some agreements. And I think that's, again, important to point out and important to extend our gratitude to all of our associations and all of our employees. In other news, I did want to share out different events that have happened across the district, and just here's a brief listing of what has been occurring across the district. Recently, we celebrated the district's 105th anniversary / birthday, so congratulations, Sweetwater. We also have been visited by Miss Sandy Scheller, who's been making presentations related to education about the Holocaust at a number of our different schools. I want to say thank you to Ms. Scheller for bringing that important information to our community. We also hosted our Teacher of the Year celebration at Olympian High School recently. Congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Year. National City Middle School held a ceremony to open a time capsule from 25 years ago. Amazing how quickly time goes by. It was great to see some of those photos, by the way. I had an opportunity to attend the CalSoups conference and had the ability to connect last week with other superintendents across the state, as well as state level leaders who shared some of the assessments of what's going on across the state of California and beyond. It's important to be updated when there's a lot of things that are in flux. A special note, I would also like to give a special shout out to the Mecha students who I had an opportunity to meet with over at Castle Park High School on Friday. So to Andrea, Brittany, Denise, Georgina, Nestor, and Evelyn, I want to say gracias por todos sus esfuerzos para abogar por la comunidad. Les quiero asegurar que nosotros los apoyamos. I want to thank them for their very sophisticated advocacy as students. This was on the specific issue of immigration. And I want to reassure them that we will continue to take steps to address a number of items that were raised, all with a clear intent to ensure that our students and staff feel safe and welcome in our school. Again, let me reiterate, we have implemented steps and protocols to ensure this, but in the coming weeks, we will be adding to our efforts to ensure we're communicating this to our staff and students. And with that, let's get on with this evening's meeting of the Board of Education. Gracias por la oportunidad de servir.
Okay. Next is our Student Board Representative report. Ms. Liliana Davis is unable to attend the meeting tonight, but I will read her message. Good evening, everyone. I apologize for my absence this evening as I am currently at Cornell University with my brother who was recently admitted for Admitted Students Weekend. However, as always, you'll get to hear from me through my report, which is as follows. This month, during the early part of April, I had the privilege of meeting online with ASB presidents and Mrs. Fox, who provided me with their extremely important insight on and off campus issues around the district. Next month will be my final meeting with the ASB presidents before graduation, predicted to be at Eastlake High School. April is a month of renewal and growth, and it's a perfect time to recognize the positive changes happening across the district. While we celebrate the fresh beginnings that spring brings, let's continue striving to make our campuses places of pride, safety, and community for all students. Now, over the past few meetings, I have continued to highlight the bathroom situation, specifically privacy, availability, and cleanliness. I am elated to share that there's been a noticeable improvement in bathroom availability across campuses. Students have noticed a difference, especially during passing periods and class times. Bathrooms are more accessible, which is a huge step forward in helping students feel more comfortable during the school day. However, cleanliness is still an issue. After listening to many students, I don't believe this is necessarily an administrative issue, but rather a campus culture one. Promoting bathroom cleanliness among students themselves may be by using PSAs on school broadcasting systems or morning announcements could really help. It is important that students take ownership of keeping our shared spaces clean and welcoming for everyone. Switching gears a little, construction on various campuses is now visible and in full motion. Students can finally see the progress, which has been motivating and exciting. At Chula Vista, the construction hasn't been too disruptive. Noise levels are still manageable, which students appreciate. Over at Olympian, the new seating area in the center of the campus is completed and looks beautiful. Many ASB presidents asked me to specifically thank the board for making these improvements happen. The upgrades have brought a renewed sense of pride to the campuses. However, answering questions about the ongoing construction, such as what exactly is being built and how it will be used, would really help students feel more connected to the process. Another important topic that came up was senior activities. Every year, students look forward to traditions like Senior Assassin and Senior Ditch Day, even though these activities aren't technically allowed. This year made it clear seniors are going to find a way to celebrate regardless of the restrictions. Because of this, I believe the board and administration should consider finding ways to allow senior traditions to happen in a safe, structured, and approved way. When students feel like they're being trusted and supported, it reduces the risk of unsafe or unauthorized activities. We should be encouraging celebration while still ensuring that it's done responsibly and in accordance with school rules. Lastly, I want to highlight something that needs more attention. Disability Awareness Spirit Week. It was supposed to be a district-wide event, but unfortunately, many ASBs either did not get the information or did not promote it strongly. This led to lower participation and missed an opportunity to bring awareness to something really important. This is especially important to point out because East Hills Academy, a school that supports students with unique learning needs, is located right next to Olympian High School. Students from both schools share the community space, and it's important that we recognize and support all students. Making sure events like Disability Awareness Week are better promoted in the future would help build a stronger sense of understanding and connection between our campuses. These concerns might seem like separate issues, but together they shape student life and the culture of our schools. Thank you to everyone who is present tonight for listening and for your ongoing commitment to making our schools better for everyone. By working together, we can continue to push for improvements that make our campuses more inclusive, safe, and supportive for all students. Thank you. Okay. Public hearings. Conduct a public hearing for the public to respond to the Sweetwater Union High School District's initial proposal to the Administrators Association, Sweetwater Union AASU, the exclusive representative of the Administrator Bargaining Unit. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers, Mr. President.
Okay. The public hearing is now closed. Okay. Public communication on non-agenda items. This is the point on the agenda where members of the public may address the board on any matter not on the agenda and have 3 minutes each to do so. Pursuant to board bylaw, the board may limit the time for public comment on any single subject to 20 minutes per topic. The Board of Trustees cannot legally take action on or respond to the matters not posted on the public agenda, but will refer the matter to the Superintendent's office for review and report. Speakers shall refrain from using profanity and shall speak in a respectful manner. Thank you for your cooperation. Clerk of do we have any
Yes.
speakers?
The first speaker is Eileen Yamamoto.
Good evening, board members. My name is Eileen Yamamoto. I am a parent of an incoming student in the class of 2029 at Bonita Vista High School. You should have all received an email from me outlining my concerns over the weekend, but I'd like to briefly speak to the issues here as well. Bonita Vista has removed the AP Human Geography from their social science options as part of an early rollout of the AB 101. This limits students' access to a rigorous college-level course that fulfills graduation requirements and offers college credit. AB 101 mandates a one-semester ethnic studies course beginning with the class of 2030, not the class of 2029. Bonita Vista is implementing this early and expanding it to a full year course, which restricts academic options beyond what's required. The district's own graduation policy, which I'm sure you all have a copy of, updated December 2024, clearly states that the requirement begins with the class of 2030. Additionally, the district's website continues to list AP Human Geography under the History and Social Science category, reinforcing its status as a valid course option. As a professional at San Diego State University, I can confirm that AP Human Geography transfers as a general education course and fulfills a key requirement. Removing it denies valuable college credit and potential cost savings for many families. Families were also misinformed. The materials shared during course selection reference UC Davis, not local institutions like SDSU, who may I add, shares a partnership with our district with the Compact to Success. Instead, the form labeled AP Human Geography as an elective. Furthermore, the Google Doc sent to parents last week was very confusing and was not made available in Spanish. In an effort to promote equity and inclusion, communication should be clear and accessible, especially in a district that serves a large Hispanic and Latino population. Other schools in our districts are continuing to offer AP Human Geography to the class of 29 as an option. Bonita Vista's decision to remove it from its option clearly gives students a disadvantage academically and in terms of college readiness. I want to make clear that I fully support the intent of AB 101, but we respectfully ask that the board ask to align the implementation with the district's own timeline and publicly available information, and restore AP Human Geography as a social science option for the class of 2029. Thank you for your time and continued commitment to equity and student success in our district and allowing us to advocate for our student and our child. Thank you.
Mike Yamamoto?
Hello, how's everybody doing today? Thank you very much for hearing us. My name is Mike Yamamoto. I'm the father of 2 students within Sweetwater Union High School District. The reason I'm here today is to discuss the topic of AP Human Geography not initially being offered to incoming freshmen at Bonita Vista High School as a social science course. The only option for incoming freshmen at Bonita Vista High School was under social science was under ethnic studies. My son is an 8th grader at Rancho Del Rey Middle, and most of his classmates will be attending Otay Ranch High School. It was brought to my attention that Otay Ranch High School was offering AP Human Geography and ethnic studies as a social science option. Bonita Vista only had AP Human Geography as an elective. I spoke with Ms. Gray, the assistant principal at Bonita Vista High School, and she did inform me an email will be going out to Bonita Vista middle students stating that AP Human Geography would be an option for incoming freshmen at Bonita Vista High School. I wanted to discuss 3 topics issued with the board tonight. Issue number 1, Bonita Vista only gave families until yesterday, Sunday, to request a AP Human Geography switch from ethnic studies. This email was sent out on Friday, April 11th, around 11 a.m. With such short notice to request a change, the likelihood of this class being filled is minimal. My ask is to extend the deadline to Sunday, April 27th to make the class switch request. Also inform families that the students that take AP Human Geography in 9th grade are only required to take 1 semester ethnic studies to meet graduate requirements. Issue number 2, Sweetwater Union requiring ethnic studies course to be mandated a year in advance when State Assembly Bill 101 requires the graduating class 2030. Neighboring school districts such as Coronado and San Diego are following Assembly Bill 101. My questions are, when was this decision made by Sweetwater Union to move the mandate up a year, and who was involved in that decision? Also, with the lawsuit being filed last week by California Attorney General Rob Bonta against the White House administration and the lack of state funding from Governor Newsom, it concerns me that ethnic studies course may not be a requirement in future years. With the pending lawsuit and uncertainty of state and federal funding to the California education system, my request is that Sweetwater Union adhere to Assembly Bill 101 and have the ethnic studies course a mandate starting with class of 2030. And my third and final issue was Sweetwater Union requiring the ethnic studies to be a full-year class versus the state mandated 1 semester. My ask here is also to adhere to Assembly Bill 101 and have the ethnic studies mandate for 1 semester. In conclusion, I feel like I was misled by Bonita Vista and Sweetwater Union with the options that were available for incoming freshmen as a social science class option. My hope is that students, parents, and the community can trust Sweetwater Union in making sure that all course options are communicated now and in the future. I also have notes supporting all this. If I could leave this with somebody, they could take a look at that.
I'll take it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
David Boehm? Thank you.
Good evening, President Lopez Zapata and members of the board, as well as fellow parents and other stakeholders in our district. As you said, my name is David Boehm. I am the very proud parent of an Eastlake High School senior and Eastlake Middle School twins, so I will compete with you on any sleep deprivation that any of you have ever had. I wear many other hats as well. I'm the current chair of the County of San Diego Independent Redistricting Commission, as well as a 30-year veteran of the United States Foreign Service, a diplomat, in other words, stationed at 6 U.S. embassies and working in more than 70 countries over my career. You won't be surprised to hear that puts ethnic studies front and center on my mind, including a lot of education within this district and other parts of San Diego County as we drew electoral lines for our 5 county supervisors. And what's become clear to me is just like we had dialogue with so many citizens, dialogue with parents and parent engagement becomes critical. I promise you, I had no idea the 2 previous speakers were going to address this topic, but I have been in close touch with district staff, as well as Madam President yourself, on these issues. I don't want to repeat anything you've already heard, but I would say, first and foremost, please don't take any of my comments as being particularly critical, because I think any kind of change like this always involves complexities. My fear, and what I hope I can leave you with as a thought, is there is an opportunity here to improve parental engagement, not just at any one school, across the district, on an issue and a topic and a curriculum that really should be celebrated. This is a big, big change. It's an important change. I think it's one people knew was coming, but it's missing a few key points. As you heard earlier, and I can give you the specific part of AB 101 that cites it, it is not a state requirement that it be imposed on the graduating class that will finish high school in June 2029. It is a state requirement for the class that finishes in June 2030. Despite any number of Google searches, AI searches, and other activities, I cannot find where the district made this decision, or more importantly to me, frankly, where the parental engagement was and what level that was at. Again, I don't offer that as a criticism. I offer that as something that I would think requires a little more attention. I did have the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Don Dumas on the district staff, who's doing remarkable work on this and clearly understands what he's talking about. But when he mentioned you can visit the curriculum itself for the district, he was surprised, as I was, that parents could not access it, at least last week. Now, late last week, or over the weekend, I was able to access it. But I have the luxury of some time, and I found myself with even more questions about the curriculum now, again, in the spirit of constructive dialogue. But for a discussion that is focused on incoming students, the curriculum apparently is designed for 9th graders. That means 8th graders now. There's been very, very little, I can promise you really none, engagement with parents of 8th graders. Guidance counselors at the high schools have not had that opportunity, and yet, I'm just going to go just a few seconds over, I promise. And yet, the students themselves had to make the choice about signing up for the course or not on what right now would be a requirement. So very, very briefly, my suggestion would be either to make it optional for the next year, or make it something where the parents could opt out for the children and find another way to meet the requirement over the course of the next 4 years. There's no reason to rush, from my perspective, incoming 9th graders, with all the complexity of being an incoming 9th grader, to a curriculum that parents haven't even had the opportunity to see. Thank you very much for your time, and I really do hope this is the beginning of a dialogue with me and other parents. Thank you.
Alexis Sarita.
Madam President, board members, thank you for your time. Superintendent Aguirre. I would like to bring to your attention a situation that transpired last year. My son is in the marching band at Eastlake High School. There was an incident that occurred that amounts, as far as I'm concerned, it amounts to harassment, bullying, and threat. It's kind of ironic that at the beginning of this conference that you asked us to speak respectfully. Because this teacher that we are reporting to you and have reported to you since last year basically told my son that if he doesn't get his drill correctly, excuse the profanity, that she's gonna fucking kill him. This reverberates in my son's head that makes him uneasy to go to school in her class. Okay? This incident was reported to the principal, reported to various members of this board. I sent several emails. I've sent an email to the compliance officer, and I have not heard any response at all. The person that is in the subject of my plea to you was removed from school. And when she was removed from school, the band flourished. The band thrived. They were able to participate in championships, and they placed 6th overall for Southern California without this band director's guidance. It was under the tutelage of Mr. Barton and the sub that this band was able to achieve all this success. As I said, the incident traumatized my son, and the return of this said teacher to the classroom is unacceptable. My child, we as parents, me and my wife, my other child at home has been stressed. We're mentally stressed because every time my child goes to school, he has to go to the principal's office because he's afraid that this teacher will commit the same incident again. So my ask of you is to immediately remove this teacher from the classroom because it's not safe for her to be in that position. Thank you.
Rhoda Saluta.
Good afternoon, Dr. Aguirre, district officials, and district board members. Pardon me if I'm wearing my sunglasses due to an eye irritation. But because for my son, I'm here. I'm Rhoda Saluta. My son is currently a sophomore in Eastlake High School. I'm asking for your immediate action regarding the incident happened last year, as my husband said. My son loves to go to the band every time. But when the teacher told him that, pardon my saying, if you're not gonna do the drill right, I'm gonna fucking kill you. As a mom, I will protect my son in any possible I can. When I found out that this teacher is coming back after the spring break, I asked my son if he is okay if she comes back. He answered me, "Mom, I'm not comfortable around her." So I told my son, if she's there, just go to the principal office and let her know that you're not comfortable around her. Since she's back, my son is not been able to attend the class, which he is very sad because he loves to go to the band. As a parent, it's okay for us to reprimand our son, but not the point to threaten him. Being a teacher, aren't we supposed to protect the children if they are in school, not to threaten them? I'm also not comfortable of her around my son because she may get back to my son. I've even asked the principal what will happen to my son if she's back and my son is not comfortable around her. How can he attend class if he feels unsafe around his teacher? Aren't we supposed to support our kids to do their best on the things that they love to do? I hope as a mom, as a parent, you can hear my plea. And for this past week, our family has been mentally stressed, and it's very hard for us seeing our son not to attend the class. Thank you very much.
Sai Gebatan? Sorry.
How does this work? I'm sorry, it's my first time. Okay. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Josiah Gatbonton, current club treasurer and engineer of the Olympian robotics team. and club. I've come to you, board members, to speak about the actions of our current teacher advisor, Mr. Joseph Diaz, who has consistently neglected the Olympian robotics team, as well as make multiple horrible deeds against one of the most talented teams with much academic potential, stemming from immigration, or discrimination. I'm trying to get myself together. He often uses position as teacher to force me and other students to take on his work for him, as well as supervisor of the team in their work with heavy machinery, as well as organize and recruit new members, and even once had a student bring an adult sibling to supervise on his behalf while he gets credit for it all. Then a month ago on a Friday afternoon, told me that we won't be able to work together after he found out that the council advisor, not only has he been negligent and consistently coming, for example, coming late to meetings and competitions, if at all, but multiple robotic students have faced discrimination from Diaz, stemming from nationality to immigration status, thus causing multiple students to experience immense emotional breakdowns. Some of his actions included forcing students to share political views openly, and when they did, he aggressively criticized them for their beliefs. Once he stated that the salute done by Elon Musk was an AI-generated video, which is false. Aggressively criticizing the views of robotic students who openly expressed LGBTQ identity, and even got aggressive when a student brought up the topic of immigration. Mr. Diaz has stalled much of the progress within the Olympian Robotics Club and have subjected many peers to emotional distress. In order to fix this problem, the students of the and Council of Olympian Robotics wish for the teacher, Mr. Joseph Diaz, to be removed from the advising robotics club, for the robotics club to enroll a qualified and credentialed coach, which is promoted by the team, and for the teacher, Mr. Joseph Diaz, remains employed at OHS and undergoes bias training. I'd like to thank you, board members, for listening to me. I'm sorry that I'm a little shaky, but it's my first time being here. Thank you so much.
Eden Zachary Lazarus Abundes.
Hi, my name is Idan Zachary Lazarus Abundes, and I stand before you as a student who filed a complaint on behalf of Saigad Bonton. He was right there, and he just gave you a little spew about what just happened at Olympian High School. I believe that the district is engaged in an alternate agenda to discriminate against pupils on the basis of nationality, immigration status, and sexual orientation, and further the LGBTQIA+ community. Further, I stand before you with concerns about rising levels of prejudice and discrimination. We've heard it from another school as well. Quote, I believe it was, I'm going to fucking kill you. That was the quote, I believe. That is terrible. I think this is really deplorable. The district has an affirmative obligation to protect against bias, discrimination, and harassment according to California Education Code 200 to 220 sections. And in addition, discrimination in any form, whether based on race, immigration status, gender, disability, sexual orientation, religion, or national origin, has no place in our schools. Yet reports from students and families suggest that when such concerns are raised within this district, they are covered up. That is terrible. Several individuals at Olympian High School have shared troubling experiences in which formal complaints were inadequately investigated or covered up by the school's principal, which I'm sure is not an isolated incident, and some have faced retaliation after speaking up despite the fact that CCR Title V, some code, I forgot the specific code, it specifically states that complainants are protected against retaliation, are protected from retaliation. And others report that the district is breaking its affirmative obligation to combating against bias and discrimination and thus lacks legal compliance. These incidents collectively reflect a systemic issue that requires honest acknowledgement and corrective action. If you might recall from Saigad Ponton, he does not want the employees to be fired. He wants them to just undergo bias training and go around about their day. Holding the district accountable for how it handles complaints ensures that an attack on the dedicated students, staff, and teachers, and as well as other underrepresented minorities does not happen again. And I hope that after this day of me going to the board, the district will change. Change for good. Change for the better. Change in ensuring that complainants are not retaliated against and are not covered up. Because at the end of the day, we must learn from our mistakes. Thank you so much, board.
John Cox.
Good evening, esteemed board. I am John Cox, speaking as a teacher from Launch Virtual Academy. Recently voted #1 middle school by a publication. Look it up. I don't know. Google. Well, I'm here to address what I think is kind of a missed opportunity by not offering cosmetology and barbering as a high school CTE pathway. High school CTE pathway. You know, working at LVA, I get to meet students in a very unique manner where we have lengthy, like, asynchronous discussions, and inadvertently every quarter, large number of students express their passion for makeup and eyelashes and hair. It's really incredible. And clearly I know nothing about any of those things, but we do know that it is really a part of their identity. It is truly a passion in our community. And I see the student interest. I have parents that support their kids by doing this kind of work. And it is a viable and growing profession. There's clearly money to be made there, and it would be a wonderful CT pathway. I mean, and I know nothing about it, but I asked my roommate, Mrs. Cox, how much she spends in hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, various things. And when I regained consciousness, it solidified my observation that by implementing a cosmetology and barbering pathway, we would honor our students' passions, we would honor our communities and our cultures of our communities. And I met with a group of teachers a couple weeks ago at State Council, and they had students graduating high school with their degree as well as a cosmetology license. You know, think about the student loans that takes off their plate, you know. I think that would be a wonderful service we could provide to these kids. And our neighboring district, Grossmont High School, has 2 schools. And coincidentally, they're the schools that are closest to us that offer this pathway. At Monte Vista and the one right past it, sorry, Mount Miguel. Yeah, I drive by it every day, sorry. So I'm hoping at some point, I know how difficult these things are to implement, but we honor our students, their passions, by integrating this pathway into our high schools. Thank you.
Veronica Hurtado.
Good evening, school board members and superintendents. I am here as a very concerned parent. I have filed a complaint against Coach Deborah Isaiah from Montgomery High School, who has displayed very aggressive behavior against not just my daughter, but her teammates as well. I regret not filing a report with the police department, which I will be doing so. I am I want to state that the coach needs to be put on administrative leave until the district can investigate my daughter's affected by her ongoing behavior, yelling, physically pushing my daughter during a match in September 13, 2024. This is unacceptable. The coach nor school personnel has the right to this type of aggressive behavior towards my daughter and her teammates. I ask the board for further support us in this serious matter. My daughter's teammates are afraid to speak up out of fear of retaliation. I have filed a complaint towards her aggression behavior. As a parent, I plead the board to direct a thorough investigation in this matter. Thank you for your time.
Erica de Belohita.
Good evening. Good evening, board members, Dr. Aguirre. I'm here to tell you about some events that are coming up in adult education. And I know it's human nature, we're busy, maybe we weren't thinking about going, but here I am to invite you personally, hoping to sway you. So just to let you know that we have our annual Career and Resource Fair at National City Adult School on Wednesday, and our annual CTE Industry Advisory, which will be virtual. So you don't have to leave your home if that's where you are at that time. And if you'd like more information, Ms. Azevedo has everything you need to know. I also encourage you, especially the newer board members, to learn more about adult education and learn about all the great work that's going on there. And maybe even ask for a board presentation. That would be a great way to learn all about us. So I hope to see you there, and if not this time, in the future. Thank you.
Lucy Ugarte.
Good evening, President Lopez Cepeda, trustees, and Dr. Aguirre. Lucy Ugarte, President, Sweetwater Education Association. First, tonight I want to update you with regard to the association's ongoing work and the work between SEA and the district. First, I am happy to say that the overwhelming task of negotiating over 18 articles in our collective bargaining agreement is complete, and I'll speak more about that on F7. As you know, SEA leadership has met weekly with Human Resources, Labor Relations, and Legal since April of 2023 in order to troubleshoot, proactively handle impending concerns, and work together to remedy situations that arise each week. These meetings have kept most circumstances from getting out of control. SEA is appreciative of the collaboration that is both preventative and proactive. We negotiate and we move forward professionally on a weekly basis. Does that mean it's easy or all sunshine and roses? Absolutely not. It involves a lot of work from many different individuals, and SEA is grateful to them all. For some areas, I will continue to reach out to you, each of you one-on-one, to meet regarding association concerns. I'm grateful for your willingness to listen and address each situation. In the time we are in now, where public education is being attacked, it is important to work together for our students and families. On Saturday, May 17th, SEA, along with associations in our area, San Isidro, National City, and across the state, under the leadership of CTA, will be rallying to stop the attacks on public schools, the attacks on our students, the attacks on families, and the attacks on educators. And I've provided you with that information. Finally, as we enter the last period of the school year, we are already working on next year's business. SEA has asked the district to ensure that all principals submit the work requisitions now and not hold on to them so that teachers can be processed and ready to go in July. April's posting of positions had numerous openings, and that was a good start. SEA anticipates that the May 1st posting will have even more, and the association's leadership is monitoring the schools who have had few or no postings, and after the May 1st positions, may be contacting you to get your assistance, coaching, and support of these administrators. Thank you for your time.
Anissa Enciso.
Hi, my name's Anissa. I work for a nonprofit called Kate Sessions Commitment. I've actually worked with Marty in the past, and today I'm here to talk about a grant from the City of San Diego. And just to make it clear, I do not work with the City of San Diego. We work with a nonprofit. And what we are asking you today is to consider asking the city for tree planting events in your school. Right now there is a grant from the Inflation Reduction Act. $10 million in San Diego is going toward planting trees in underserved communities, and the census blocks have already been marked out. So especially in Otay Mesa Nestor, the schools that I believe are with your district are Mar Vista Academy, Southwest Middle School, and Southwest High School. And they already started planting around those areas, but with funding and everything being really uncertain in these times, we find it important for schools, which are a great organization, to promote these trees and especially the maintenance. So if parents and teachers and students are aware that these trees are being planted, they have a connection with them, they will be incentivized to take care of them after the city doesn't have any more funding to maintain them. And the grant right now includes 3 years of maintenance after they're planted. So obviously this is a conversation to be had in later years, but hopefully if right now we spread information about these trees when they most need to be cared for, we're able to protect these trees. And this is of course a matter of public health. We want to provide shade around schools. Trees give so many benefits, but shade being one of them, especially creating a calm environment for students so they can feel safer. And I would appreciate if there's a QR code and a link that you are able to see where these trees are planted, and hopefully get in contact with the communications team for the urban forestry grant and let them know that you're interested if you're available. I know it's hard and times there's a lot of things to be done, but hopefully if you have the time, we would ask you to consider asking the city for a tree planting event, or just letting your students and teachers know about the trees that are being planted in your area. Thank you.
No further speakers?
Clerk of the Board, will you please read the items being pulled from the consent agenda?
The following items are pulled: F3 by staff, F7 by the public, F10 by the public, K3 by the public, K4 by the public, K5 by the public, and K6 by the public.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Emerald?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Zepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Report on board requests for information and policy direction to staff and board communication. Is there someone who'd like to start? No?
I just want to, first of all, give my kid props because they got into the school of their choice in UC Berkeley. And I also wanted to say something really important because it reaffirmed a lot of things. And I said it to Superintendent Aguirre as well as Mr. Romero, Principal Romero. We have to remember that, we had just had a discussion about the services we offer and closed session services we offer for students that are from moderate, severe, all the way to our students that are in IB and AP. And this is where it happens. It happens in public schools. The very system of things that are actually making these success stories possible is under attack, right? And I'm really concerned. At the same time, too, I'm actually more and more dogged in my determination to make sure that attack on public education stops. Because where else in this country? I mean, this is kind of a microcosm of the country, right? Can a student that has nothing, right, that is a second language learner, and that can actually access the resources of our districts, parents who do not speak the language, all the way to the high flyers, they're receiving a first-rate education. And it's all because of you, teachers and staff and administrators. And I just want to say to you all, I don't know, I get really emotional about this because I think we lose sight of the great work that we do here in the district. And I want to say thank you to each one of you. My kid's story wouldn't happen without you, and of course her mom, her mom. Not me so much, because her mom is the one who's been there, sitting there the whole way. But I want to say thank you to all of you and all the efforts that you put through, because my kid's story is my story. And I want you all to understand that as long as we keep true to those ideals, to servicing each one of the kids, despite their economic situations, despite their ethnic backgrounds, despite their immigration status, we will be doing right by this country, and we will be doing right by the district and the future of this country. I went to the Glowers Festival, Bonita Festival this weekend, and one thing that really rang out true, the kids that are performing up there, they're taking their Saturday, and they're always the high flyers, they're always the ones that are participating in schools, are the leaders of the next generation of this community. It's because of your efforts. Please don't lose sight of that. Please don't become the cynical old teachers that we sometimes can become. I know, I'm guilty of it as well. And I just want you all to understand how much I appreciate your efforts and how much, we need to feel and really true to that ideal. Public education is the most beautiful thing that this country has to offer. I just want to say thank you on behalf of my family and on behalf of my kid.
Anyone else? No? No? Okay, I do. First of all, can we have some follow-up on the issues that were described? Maybe some more clarity on the ethnic studies implementation and curriculum? If we could have follow-up for that. In addition, follow-up with all of the issues at Olympian with the robotics advisor. This is the second board meeting that this is brought to our attention, so we need to pay attention there. And CTE, the cosmetology and barbering, that, if we could do some research into that, that would be fantastic. It may not be something that can be done tomorrow, but maybe in the future it could be possible. And I love when parents come and speak, and I think it's very, very important that we take their concerns seriously, and we should follow up with the coach at Montgomery High and also the band director or leader teacher at Eastlake to see how could that be mediated if possible. And I did attend most of the same events that Dr. Aguirre did, the Teacher of the Year, the time capsule opening. That was very interesting, extremely, and a few other things, I believe. Okay? And with that, we will continue. We will be moving on to item F7.
I have one speaker, Lucy Ugarte.
Cepeda, Trustees, Dr. Aguirre, Lucy Ugarte, President, Sweetwater Education Association. The item before you represents hours of tireless work on behalf of the SEA bargaining team. At one point, there were 23 items open for negotiation during this bargaining cycle. For context, the entire contract has 37 articles. Each article requires preparation that includes soliciting information from membership, research, and language revision. During negotiations, more language revision and back and forth. This year, finding dates for bargaining became a challenge, so it seemed like it was taking forever. As stated earlier, I'm happy that this cycle is complete and the TA before you has been ratified by the membership. Thank you for your leadership during the negotiation process, especially during these uncertain times. Bargaining never ends. SEA is about to begin the cycle anew with listening for the one article reopener in addition to wages for next year, starting tomorrow during our site rep council. And with the approval from the district and the board, we hope to sunshine the article in June. We look forward to continuing to work toward better working conditions for our members. Thank you.
No further speakers?
I would like to comment that negotiations is not easy. And sometimes you feel that it's personal, but we need to remember that we are here doing the best that we can for our members, for our students. And I greatly appreciate all of the TAs that are here tonight. Okay, with that, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Arencibia?
Yes.
Emerald? Yes. Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Zepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, F10.
I have two speakers, Diane Heslin.
Good evening, President Lopez Zepeda, trustees, Superintendent Aguirre, cabinet, and members of the community. Diane Heslin, president of your newest union, Administrators Association of Sweetwater Union. I also have some board members and members with me here, if you can please stand. On behalf of the Sweetwater Administrators Union, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak as we begin the important process of negotiating our very first contract. I know we have a lot of articles open. Sorry, Jenny. We recognize that this will be a thoughtful and at times lengthy process, but we approach it with optimism, professionalism, and the spirit of collaboration. Our goal is to work together to build an agreement that reflects the dedication, responsibilities, and unique challenges of site administrators, while also supporting the long-term success of our students and schools. We are proud to be on the front lines of Sweetwater Union High School District, supporting students, guiding staff, and ensuring that each of our campuses is a place where excellence can thrive. We believe in the mission of this district and look forward to being active partners in shaping its future. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your continued support for the work that we do every day. Thank you.
Sasha Scott?
Good evening, President Lopez Zepeda, trustees, Superintendent Aguirre, the cabinet, and members of the community. My name is Sasha Scott, and I am proud to serve as the AASU bargaining chair, representing the dedicated principals and assistant principals who work tirelessly every day to lead our schools and support student success. We recognize and appreciate the many things we currently have in place, and we do not take that for granted. We are especially thankful for the strong working relationships we have with Superintendent Aguirre, the district leadership, and the board. As we embark on negotiating our first contract, our primary goal is to codify the strong practices and positive working relationships we already have in place. This is not about changing the foundation, but rather it's about putting it into writing so there is clarity, stability, consistency, and sustainability moving forward. We also want to acknowledge the financial realities we are all facing. We are very aware of our district's budgetary constraints and are approaching these negotiations with fiscal mindfulness. We believe our proposal reflects a balance between protecting what exists and building a foundation for the future. While our initial proposal may appear lengthy, that is simply because it is our first contract. Many of the items included are foundational and customary standard components of a contract. From evaluation language to leave protocols, professional responsibilities, our focus is on the basics to help support and protect our site leaders in their roles. In conclusion, the AASU board, bargaining team, and members are committed to negotiating in good faith with transparency, professionalism, and respect. We look forward to working together to build a strong agreement that honors the essential role that school administrators play in the success of Sweetwater Union High School District. Thank you all for your time.
No further speakers.
I would like to say that I hope to see a TA soon from this organization. Do I have a motion?
So moved. I'm sorry.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Emerald? Yes. Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Zepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Moving on, we're going to go to item K3.
I have one speaker, Lucy Ugarte.
Good evening, board. I've pulled a number of items in this area of the agenda so that to offer the opportunity of the district to explain the restructuring and the rationale behind this item K3. And I thought I pulled K7 as well, so I know it's passed already in the consent, but and I know my colleague will speak to some of the others, but K3, what is the rationale behind the restructuring, please?
Dr. Aguirre.
Thank you, President Elba Cepeda. So this is not necessarily done in isolation. There's a number of restructuring that's occurring, and that is also related to the information on the classified management position, where there are a number of puts and takes, and by that, basically additions and subtractions, taking advantage of an attrition-based model here at the district as well. So with that general context, K7 is K3 is the item related to the Director of Athletics and Student Activities. And what has come to our attention over the last year or so is the need to really provide greater coordination and support for student activities in addition to the athletics component. So this is in Dr. Moore's area. I'll ask him to really elaborate in that, and I won't steal his thunder. Dr. Moore.
Good evening, board, and thank you, Superintendent Aguirre. What's happened is we've seen a little bit of a shift in our student support services department, wherein we're expanding from the areas of multi-tiered systems of support, enrollment, transfers, and discipline, into also being responsible for things that are happening on the student activities side. And I think one of the things that happened this year that really brought this to light was when we receive federal dollars for our nutrition services. It's important that in our student stores and when they're selling items, which are usually run by the ASB, either administrator or advisor, that those student stores follow the guidelines set forth by the federal and state government about what can be sold during nutrition breaks and lunchtime and before and after school. And when we received an audit from the state earlier this year, the question was, what's being sold at all of our student stores? And coming up with that list of items took a monumental endeavor that involved multiple people in multiple departments to get that information and compile it and provide it for the state auditor. And that really brought to life the notion of someone that is responsible and in supporting our student government and ASBs and really responsive to those particular needs. I think we've also seen it in the area of graduation and promotion. And so where we have an individual that will be working to supervise and provide support to all of our schools in the areas of athletics, student activities, student empowerment activities. I believe we even heard from a public speaker, or perhaps it was the report read by our student board representative. If certain activities were promoted more in our district, perhaps there would be more coordination. And I think this is the attempt to provide a person that becomes the job, coordinating the numerous and various activities that are going on in our school to the best degree possible. And it couldn't simply fall in our student services department. It needs a little bit more direction, a little bit more focus. And so the student activities and athletics areas where we felt that there's a potential for growth. Just one last point around around athletics. we honored 2 teams here earlier today, and that's fantastic. We have an extraordinarily robust middle school sports program that involves not only our middle schools in the district, but also middle schools from our feeder districts. And literally on our campuses, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of parents and student athletes and coaches coming to compete almost every Saturday of the school year. And so, again, providing a little more focus in that area, upgrading that leadership position to a director level is the thought behind the reorganization in this area. And so I'm happy to answer any questions should there be any.
Any questions? No? Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Emerald?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Cepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item K4.
Elizabeth Loainsing Garcia?
Good evening, members of the board. Elizabeth Loainsing Garcia, president of the Sweetwater Counseling and Guidance Association. I just wanted to say thank you and express my gratitude to Dr. Aguirre and district leadership for your openness and willingness to engage in thoughtful dialogue regarding the needs of school counselors in our district. I truly appreciate the steps that have been taken into bringing to life a coordinator of school counseling services, which we haven't had in my 20+ years here in the district. This represents meaningful progress, and I thank you all for your efforts in making that happen. As we move forward, I would like to share a few considerations. While I recognize the importance of the mental health and social emotional components of school counseling, I'm concerned that the job description leans heavily in that direction, in the direction of mental health. The role of school counselor encompasses 3 critical domains: academic development, college and career readiness, and social emotional support. To ensure our students receive comprehensive services, it's essential that all 3 domains are given equal emphasis in this job description, as well in the role itself. It is our hope that the coordinator of school counseling services will serve as a collaborative leader who works across several district departments, including curriculum, college and career readiness, and student support services, to promote equitable district-wide access to high-quality school counseling services in all 3 domains. Additionally, we strongly believe that this position should be filled by someone who has direct experience as a school counselor within our district and who has participated in relevant district-level committees and leadership roles. It is important that this leader understands the unique needs of our students and staff from the lens of a school counseling practice, not solely through an administrative or managerial perspective. Thank you for your time and consideration. I encourage the board to not approve the job description at this time and to provide a recommendation for continued dialogue with the parties involved to ensure collaboration on shaping a role that truly meets the needs of our students in our district. Thank you.
No further speakers.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Arencibia? Emerald? Yes. Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Cepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And K5. Item K5.
I have 1 speaker, Lucy Ugarte.
Again, just an opportunity to explain the rationale, please, behind this item. Thank you.
Dr. Aguirre.
Thank you, President Cepeda. The one common thread I do want to acknowledge, as I was listening to Dr. Moore, that we have discussed that I think is important to outline, is we continuously are on the receiving end of a number of additional mandates and rules and requirements. Dr. Moore mentioned just a couple of them, for example, kind of ASB cells. When it comes to state and federal, that is definitely an area where there is a number of mandates, both state and federal, that we are responsible for. And so I think that's the thing that is a common theme amongst these positions that are coming before the board. I'll ask Dr. Alvarez. This will be under her area to expound on that. But I did want to share that that's kind of the common thread that we're discussing this evening. Dr. Alvarez?
Good evening, Dr. Aguirre. Thank you, Ms. Lopez Cepeda, board members, our public. That is exactly right. When I started in 2015 with our state and federal programs director, we had about $65 million in LCAP funds and probably a little bit over about $18 million with Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV. Last year with ESSER funds, with title monies, with the Learning Recovery Block Grants, with the Arts Music Instructional Block Grant, with our LCAP carryover and other funding sources that are either state or federal or local funding sources, we exceeded over $232 million. With that, we went from having about 100 staff members that had to fill or complete what's called time accounting logs. That's where you tie the funding source to the actions and services that you're providing based on those guidelines, to at one point over 800. So our team at state and federal has been working diligently to ensure that, one, for each of these new mandates, we write procedures and policies that align and that we are held accountable and compliant. And as you know, over the last 10 years, when we've done our federal program monitoring on the compliance side, we have had no findings. But it has been working, our team has been working overtime to ensure that those elements are in. As we see the ever-evolving discussion and discourse at the national level and potential changes in how funding sources are going to be allocated to the state through block grants and other elements, I think it's essential that we have a state and federal program director that is at the level of all the other instructional directors with the scope of services that they have to provide, the supervision, the guidance that they provide to high school principals. And so we need to ensure that with all those elements, we have the support at that level.
With that, a motion?
Well, I'll move the item, but first I wanted to ask, how much are we talking about coming in? If we bring in somebody who is focused on the grants and all, what's the possibility here? What do you anticipate?
So it depends. Right now, for example, with the community schools grant, that is one additional funding source that we could look at. If all 12 schools receive that grant funding, that would be an additional $21 million over 5 years. And that's just one resource. But we do all of our CTE incentive grants, our K-12 strong workforce partnerships. Those are all under the auspice of college and career CTE, but in terms of those time accounting logs, the monitoring, the processing, that is under the state and federal. So it's a large amount of funding that is going to be supported through there.
All right, well, good luck with that. And with that, I will formally move the item.
Second.
Arancibia?
Yes.
Emerald?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Ojeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, K6.
I have one speaker, Lucy Ugarte.
Last one. If you would indulge me to, just, I thought I pulled K7, but that's what happens when you get pulled away while you're filling something out. Just again, a rationale, an explanation for how this restructuring came about for the paralegals.
Dr. Aguirre.
Thank you, President Lopez Cepeda. So again, this is following that common thread and theme of increased mandates that we are receiving. In terms of the specifics for this particular item, K7 is senior paralegal position. I will ask Ms. Jennifer Carbucci, our General Counsel, to elaborate. Ms. Carbucci.
Hi, and I'll address both, while not pulled, K6 and K7 go very closely together. So we have had paralegals in the district as, they were established prior to me getting here with the establishment of the general counsel job description. And at that time, it was very much written like a paralegal for anywhere else that you would find in the legal community. We are not the same as a law firm or a litigation firm. And so what I've found over 10 years in supervising this position, frankly, is that there really are two different classifications of what a paralegal does. One is basic paralegal work that any paralegal can do. That is what the job description for a paralegal is. And then secondly, once you have educational experience, or you're lucky enough to find someone that has educational experience, that is what the job description in K7 for a senior paralegal is. There are currently 2 paralegal positions in the district, and some of you know me well and know that what we did was we took the paralegal job description, and any person that is futurely placed into that will receive a 10% pay decrease from what they're receiving today. That actually is the difference of either between $9,000 and $20,000 on the pay scale, and that is how we are affording to fund the senior paralegal. So they were both at an 8. We created a new 9 to allow for a lesser paid position, because what over 10 years of experience I've determined is that when you come in without the educational experience, you can get a lot less accomplished. So we should pay someone less for that. And when you are here and have had at least 3 years of educational experience working in special ed, working in First Amendment issues, working in collective bargaining, all of these other areas, there is a very different need that should be rewarded at a higher. So there is an offset in this to where the change in having 1 and 1 will result in a net or very close to a net equal. It may be a little bit less, it may be a little bit more, and that is the reason for the change. It also allows for, like in most divisions, when you have someone that supervises someone else, this allows the senior paralegal to give guidance to the paralegal. But this is not new positions based on new costs. This is an equalized cost based on our fiscal impact in areas. We are all being asked to do less or more with less, and that is exactly what we're doing here at not an increased cost.
And if I may, just to again expand on it or highlight, if you look at the salary schedule item for management, there are more cuts than additions. I just want to make sure that is very evident. That follows our theory of action about attrition-based model, and that is what we've been doing, and that is what our strategy and our theory is moving forward as well. So again, if you look at the overall number, there is a number of decreases there as well. Of course, where there's some additions, that's the highlight, but at the end of the day, there are more deletions from that management salary schedule than there are additions.
Thank you, because I think that was something that, we have to be very clear about, is that we're actually cutting positions to be able to make sure, and we're throwing more responsibilities on select 3 positions, and I think that's really the important thing that we're doing, because one of the things we believe is paring back at the level of the number of administrators that we have. So this is one of the ways that we're doing that. Thank you very much, Superintendent Aguirre. I move.
Okay.
Second.
Arencibia?
Yes.
Emerald?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Lopez Cepeda?
Yes.
Solis?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the regular board meeting is now adjourned. Everyone have a great month.